We're A-Game, a 100% Black-owned company with an all-natural product and world-class customer service. We're headquartered in California, and we manufacture, package, and ship right here in the United States. We ship to more than 125 distributors worldwide. Normal processing is 2 to 3 days, and we employ virtual tracking until our product is received. So, no matter where you are in the world, here we come, and we're bringing your A-game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello. How is everybody? Everybody okay? How's everybody doing this Thursday? No notifications? So if you guys are experiencing no notifications, you got a couple of options that you can do. One of them is to make sure the bell is rung, the notification bell. The other one is to, if that bell is already clicked and you don't really get notifications when I go live, the other option is to unsubscribe and resubscribe. But the best option that I can offer is there's a link down towards the bottom of my description box for my Discord server. And the only use that I really have for that Discord server is to put notifications every time I drop of any content at all, whether it's live or a premiere video. Now, we can do more in Discord. I actually look forward to trying to do more in Discord because we can talk, we can have voice chats, group chats in Discord. It's just that it can be a little bit interesting getting in there. I don't know people's schedules or if they even really know how to use Discord. But my Discord link is in the description box. And if you click that, you'll always get notifications for my content. So you read the title right. You know, Marc Lamont Hill, he always got some crazy stuff he's saying. And it's like, do you even hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Now, I'm not making a commentary today on the entirety of the interview. I may actually do that tomorrow. I'm going to watch the entire interview because right now I'm referring to and going to analyze a clip. But this evening, I'm going to try to watch the entire interview. And if it's interesting enough, I may do this as a part 2. If it sounds like I'm talking a little bit funny, that's because my upper aligner isn't seating well. I don't think it tracked very well. So I've been chewing it, chew since last night and all day today, trying to get it to sit on the left side to like click in. It won't do it. So if you hear me talking a little funny, that's what's going on. So my apologies if I sound a little funny. So I am going to play the clip straight through, and then we're going to break down the different parts because it's very short. The clip is very short. Probably 30 seconds. It might even be less. Okay. How many of you all are familiar with this interview that he did? I think he did this interview in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So this isn't new necessarily. Put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with this interview. Put a 2 in the chat if you watched the entire interview. The first half was about George Floyd. Okay. So in everybody's estimation, because I may still watch it, but in everybody else's estimation that watched it, would it be something that you'd be interested in me analyzing further? Just trying to get a gauge. Somebody put 3. I'll watch it and I'll see if there's anything meaningful that I can pull from it to give to you guys. But without further ado, let me go ahead and play this clip. I'm going to play it twice just because you need to hear it. Sorry about that. My apologies. You need to hear it. Here we go.
Some trans men who can. I'm not disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities, right? What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman in society.
Okay, but it has now come to a point where if you say that only women can give birth, you are called a bigot. That is crazy. That's nuts.
It is.
So if you say, like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate, okay? Can men get their period?
No.
Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
Some can.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Trans men, some trans men who can.
You didn't say that.
No, he didn't put a clip of Booker T. We're going to play it one more time.
Tell me you did not just say that.
I'm not disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities, right? What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman in society.
Okay, but it has now come to a point where if you say that only women can give birth, you are called a bigot. That is crazy. That's nuts.
It is.
So if you say, like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate, okay? Can men get their period?
No.
Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
Some can.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Trans men, some trans men who can.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and come back to you guys. Her pause and then the nod like, excuse me? He said some can. Before I get into this in a more intellectual way. Let me go on a real quick rant. I'm tired of tea parties, trans people arguing. Thank you, Chris 1911. Liberals can't even define woman. What's next? Exactly. I'm tired of tea parties because it is my opinion that they are the most subversive of all the letters in that little alphabet group. Because they have been instrumental in the erasure of women. I'm tired of the little tea parties trying to justify, and this is a little offshoot, but just a little, trying to justify going against biology when we talk about women being able to have birth children, have wombs, and being able to have their period. And the thing that they like to come against and talk about, well, not every woman can birth a child. Not every woman can have a period or has had their period. I don't care. I still was born with 2 ovaries, fallopian tubes, and a uterus. And I don't care if I birthed out 50 kids or negative 50 kids. I still got 2 ovaries, fallopian tubes, and a uterus. And that makes me a woman. Whether those things get utilized for what they were created for, or I have an illness where I can't use them like that, I don't care. I'm still the owner of a female reproductive system. That's just like telling me if I own, a Rolls Royce that I don't drive because it's in the garage and I like to keep it there. That's like telling me I don't own a Rolls Royce. Are you crazy? Yes, I do. Well, you don't drive it, so? And I like to look at it every day. You know what I'm saying? And just sit in it and imagine myself driving it. It don't matter. I still own it and it's in the garage. You can go look at it right now. Thank you, Teray. So telling me that if I didn't actually utilize my reproductive system, then it doesn't help define me as a woman. Yes, it do. Oh, well, some women never have kids, and some men don't either, and some folk never, walk on the moon, but it's up there. I get so tired of tea parties coming up out the side of their neck about what my reproductive system should and should not do, what it does and does not, and what qualifies it and what don't. I'll tell you one thing, I'm more of a woman than you will ever be with my fallopian tubes and your testes. I'll tell you that much. I don't care if you cut them off and wrap them around your neck like a necklace. You can have them surgically cut off and put on your head like a helicopter. And you'll never be a woman. Ever. And my womb can be dry as the Sahara Desert. It'll never birth a child. No egg will ever come through it. And I never have a period. But that don't mean I couldn't have done it. It was sitting there. And I'm getting extra tired of these little tea parties. You keep my womb out your mouth. Never me mind what it do and what it don't. Me mind. Like my grandmama used to say, she wouldn't say never mind. She'd say knee mind. Knee mind. Just never you worry about it. Now, when we take a listen at the clip, he's talking about, I don't disagree that certain body parts can yield certain outcomes. So even that statement right there is stupid. But we gonna let it slide to get to the even more stupid stuff. He just disagrees that the biology determines what is a man and a woman or a male and female in the society. Let me let y'all know something. And I know my viewers know, but anybody who would be within earshot of this. What you are born with, the biological truth of the matter, being born with double X or XY chromosomes, being born with male or female gametes, being born with a uterus, an ovary, fallopian tubes, and a vaginal canal makes you a girl. And being born with testes, a penis, and vas deferens makes you a boy. That is the fact of the matter. And that is the only fact of the matter that we need to consider in order to distinguish a male from a female. And at any point when a human being was born with a mixture of both things, to whatever capacity, we called them intersexed people. The old term used to be hermaphrodite. Because their biology determined that they were to be considered neither male nor female, or to be considered both male and female. And typically speaking, intersexed individuals are sterile. They don't usually have what it takes either way, male or female, to reproduce a child. In Islam, that's the only way, and the occasion is so rare, but that's the only way that if you were to have an intersex child, then you watch the child. You don't assign a gender at birth for the child. You allow the child to grow up, because you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna lean one way or another to the energy. They either gonna be masculine or feminine. And once that child basically kind of grow up and show you who they are, then you assign a physical sex to that, so that it can line up with them. And that was not considered a mental illness like gender dysphoria because it had a biological basis to it. They wasn't making it up. Because if the child is a boy, they gonna be a boy no matter what, if there's something going on down there. Just like the experiment that I talked about a few months, maybe a month or two ago. Thank you, Pharaoh. Remember when I was talking about that Dr. Money? And he performed that experiment on them two twins, and he whacked off. Something went on with the little boy during a circumcision procedure, and they messed up his genitalia. And then he was like, okay, this is the time where we can experiment on them and raise them like a girl. He was going to be a boy even without his penis because he was born with it. He was born male biologically. So it didn't matter what you did cosmetically to him. So your biological body, what you were born as, is the only marker that human beings have ever needed to tell them whether that was a boy or a girl. And an intersex baby was a very rare instance, rare occurrence. The social programming has been real and real devastating to get adults like Marc Lamont Hill, a fully grown man, to come to a point in society where we can openly deny observable truth and facts and openly state a lie with a straight face in its place. We have to take a look at the social engineering, the social programming involved that's got grown individuals telling lies with straight faces. Here's something else that's interesting that I thought. Here's something interesting that I thought about. Funny how we got to a point where we can just say this stuff, spew this stuff in the atmosphere, and somehow it's supposed to be acceptable. Society went from dismissing God and the concept of God as a fantastical concept meant to soothe the ignorant. Do we remember that? Do we remember taking God out of everything? Do we remember the documentary Zeitgeist? You remember that documentary? Everybody jumped on the bandwagon of the Zeitgeist or however you pronounce it. Documentary that was supposed to basically, destroy every person that had a religious leaning or had a spiritual leaning or believed in God at all. That was supposed to destroy them. That was supposed to destroy every spiritual argument, every argument in favor of religion and all of that type of thing. That was real big. That was real big. That documentary went quote unquote viral. And I watched it and shook my head. I said, oh, they went for the guts, didn't they? Whoever made that documentary came to the religious community and shanked them real quick, didn't they? I was like, oh, okay. This the game we playing. They took God out of everything because God is supposed to be something that a fairy tale. No different than you would tell a kid about Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. It was all kind of little memes going around about the flying spaghetti monster and all this other type of stuff. Just real disrespectful of anybody who held a religious or spiritual belief system. They attacked Christianity, but it was meant for everybody. It was meant for Muslims. It was meant for everybody. And they had a little bit of truth and a lot of falsehood. And it was a bunch of people that was like, yeah, I'm an atheist. Off a documentary? Yeah. Okay. And that was supposed to be to everything God. So the concept of God was supposed to be this fairy tale that the ignorant masses clung on to because they were stupid and they needed a fairy tale to get by in life. Isn't it interesting? And then they said, okay, the light of truth will not be lit by a religion. It's going to be lit by scientific and observable fact to be the truth, right? Right? Because that's really what atheists are saying. Atheists are typically saying they are atheists. They are against God, or it is against the concept of theology. And so the answer to everybody's false little flying spaghetti monster God was supposed to be the light of the truth of observable and scientific fact. Right? We're not going to deal with this mystery God. Thank you, Juana. Said, peace. Kendra, do you believe men can have menstrual periods, or is Candace completely wrong? We're not gonna think about this mystery God everybody got. We're going to get into the observable facts, scientific proofs. We're going to apply the scientific method to things. That's going to be the truth. Stuff we can see, stuff we can touch, stuff we can, you know what I'm saying? So you couldn't talk about creationism, quote unquote, as they call it. You had to talk about evolution, Darwinism. Okay. Why? Because you couldn't push your spiritual beliefs off on people, right? Right. Okay. Because we separated church and state, didn't we? Right. So that was supposed to be, you had God, we debunked God, we put science and observable fact in its place, as if people who believe in God actually didn't know nothing or didn't want to know nothing about science. Or we had something against scientific fact. Thank you, Eric. Says, so now even science is rejected. It's all about how you feel. Precisely. precisely where I'm going with it. So then we made a big deal about getting rid of God because God was a fantastical lie. And the only thing that we could be sure about as a group of human beings was what we could see, touch, taste, smell, hear. And that could all be measured and quantified and qualified through the scientific method in one way or the other. Now, the science doesn't matter. The observable fact of biology doesn't matter. Now it's all about the fantasy of how you feel. A fantasy of mankind's own making. Right? We still didn't go back to God. But now we leaving science behind. Now we leaving biology behind. Now we're leaving behind that Darwinism that you fought so hard to put into school, and so that people wouldn't talk about God and creation and the creation story. Okay, because that's mixed. Everybody ain't Christian and everybody don't believe in that. Okay, that's fine. Okay. You ain't got no problem with that. Okay, now we can't even be in a school and talk about biology. I wonder what they cover in biology class now. I wonder what they cover in biology class. After these messages, we'll be right back.
When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your A game.
Here we go again.
I like that commercial as well. That commercial always motivates me to work out. It makes me feel good whenever I worked out that day. I'm like, ooh, I did that. I did crunchies. I ain't doing the burpees. That's the devil's work. Burpees is the devil's work. So I don't do those. So what we have is 331 awesome people have hit the like button. And if we could get the other 300 people to bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to So go ahead and hit the like button, please. And burpees work. Don't get me wrong. Burpees are very effective. That's why I hate them. Because you do them, and it's going to get you together. Burpees will get you together. I don't do them. I do squats. I do all kind of other stuff. Planks, and mountain climbers. I do all kinds of, I don't know, burpee. Burpees low-key make me dizzy because of the jumping up and then the going back down real fast. I be getting dizzy. I'm like, So, where was I? Oh, yeah. The irony of leaving God, going to science because science was the answer. And then now we're going to leave science behind so we can deal with our feelings. Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings. Y'all know, somebody tell Adri what a burpee is. Describe a burpee. I do not like burpees. You can tell how much I dislike them because it's the only exercise I know the name of. I know what a burpee is. Other exercises I can't explain them because I don't know the name of them, but I know what a burpee is. I know exactly what a burpee is. So I just thought that was interesting that we did a full circle back around to something fantastical that didn't have any truth. This is the proof that the American nightmare, aka the loss of value system, is rooted on no truth. No truth. None at all. Full circle back to a fantasy. Let me go on another little rant real quick. Y'all don't mind if I go on another little rant. Another little rant, do y'all? Since when did people who believed in God didn't have nothing to do with science anyway? Since when? Since when do we not like science because I believe in the existence of a God? When you got a whole TV show that's been going on for the last 90 years talking about ancient aliens. So you will attribute the pyramids and the rise of man to an alien race that you ain't never seen nor heard of. But we won't attribute it to Allah. Wow. Because we ain't never seen Allah. But you, since when you seen E.T.? When you see him? When you see him? Because if you seen him and you ain't captured him yet, I need you to tell me where he at so I can make me a mint off of having him around. I just have him, he'll be a freak show for real. I have him like that thing up, boy. You make me about $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a day. When those of us who know the truth, we understand that the Most High created the world. Those of us who know the truth, we don't imagine some big white dude in the sky with a magic wand that boop everything into existence. We don't believe in that. My God ain't fat and jolly like a Santa Claus. My God ain't white. Let's just put that baby to bed. My God ain't never been white. We got that? While you playing? My God ain't no white man. He ain't Cesare Borgia that y'all got hung up everywhere. You know, you got him skinny and white. I don't know who that pale could have survived in the climate that he was in anyway. You need melanin to be able to have sunburn. That's why you think he died on the cross. He died of sunburn. My God ain't white. And nobody that I know that actually believe in the real and true God think he white either. And just for good measure, he ain't black either. Because he's not a figment of mankind's imagination. So man didn't make my God made man. So don't sit and tell me that because we believe in an almighty God that we don't know nothing about, the water system of the world. We don't know how mountains was made. We don't know, the miracle of a childbirth. We don't understand a menstrual cycle. That we somehow refute the understanding of that from a biological standpoint. Just because I know how a baby is made don't make it any less miracle that a baby is made. And this is what they trying to erase from us as a group of people and women. They are erasing women. They are doing the exact thing that they swore down the evil patriarchy was trying to do. Saying stupid stuff like, well, what were you assigned at birth? Assigned at birth by who? The doctor? Let's talk about that for a minute. Don't nobody assign nobody at birth but Allah. Because it was not nan doctor making sure that sperm penetrated that egg. It was not nan doctor that made sure that egg divided itself properly. There was not one doctor that made sure that it embedded itself in the uterine wall. There was not one doctor to make sure that when it was time to emerge from the uterine wall with an umbilical cord that attached to the placenta that was attached to the uterine wall, there was no doctor there. There was no doctor placing the eyes and the feet and the mouth and the ears. There was no doctor that was placing the bones inside of flesh. Wasn't no doctor assigning the chromosomes. It wasn't no doctor that put the soul in the body. It wasn't no doctor. So you don't tell me a doctor get to assign somebody at birth because you wasn't in the womb making nothing. So if there is no Allah, you tell me how it's made. Which doctor, which scientist, which liberal, which alphabet community is watching over the wombs of all the pregnant women to make sure that a baby come out? And one that without his foot right here and his arm down there. So you don't tell me about, well, he was assigned at birth and these are birthing people. We are the people that Allah named us to be. That's who we are. We are male and female. As Allah said, he created everything in two. Do you know there are hundreds of genders? Where? Where? You point to me in nature. Where? Because that is not the system of Allah. That is not the sunnah of Allah. So you don't get to tell me in 2022 that we cannot define what a woman is and we cannot define what a man is when Allah defined it. If you want to look in the Bible, it's in Genesis. He defined it for you. Thank you, Robert. You want to find the miracle of childbirth? That's in the Quran. Allah described it from point 1 to point 20, from point A to point Z. He described it, and mankind is coming from a fluid. Nutfa is the word. I created you from a fluid you find filthy. If it was to get on you, you clean it. From a drop, I created you. And in your mother's womb, in 3 layers of darkness, I created you. You were a clot. And then you were a lump. And then you were like chewed flesh. And after that time period, I brought you forth as a human being. Your mama didn't have nothing to do with it. Your daddy didn't have nothing to do with it. Neither one of them was making you in the womb either. That was me. Thank you, Lucasey. Thank you, 39 Dina. I didn't mean to turn this into a sermon. But my point is that we, those who believe in Allah, also understand science. We don't dismiss it. We just attribute it. We just say, Alhamdulillah, look what Allah created. That's all we say. Alhamdulillah, look at what Allah did. Look how Allah made the human being. Look how Allah made the trees. Look how Allah made the mountains. Look how Allah got the clouds. Look how Allah made the animals. Look, we don't discount that they there. Candace Owens mentioned that it was bigoted now to state the human and observable fact that women have children and only women have children. Only women have children means that only women can menstruate because the process of menstruation is involved in whether or not a woman can become pregnant. The whole thing about bleeding is that there was an egg. Since these people need biology lessons, there was an egg in one of my ovaries. They only release one at a time from each side. It was released into the fallopian tube. It traveled down into the fallopian tube, into the uterus, and it waited. And what did it wait for? It waited to be fertilized by a sperm. And when that did not happen, now during this course, my uterus was lining itself in preparation for a baby. It did not happen. The menstrual blood is the uterine lining shedding itself along with an egg that proved useless this cycle. Only to go back at it again and do the same thing every 28 days. Every 14 to 28 days, a woman's uterus does this once she hits puberty. The trans men who are having periods are biological women who are dressing up and pretending to be men because they want to be regarded in life as a man. They are not men having periods. They are women having periods that dress like men. And the period reminds them of what they are. To say the truth, the biological truth, we don't even have to bring God into it, but just to say the biological truth is now something revolutionary. To tell a simple truth can have catastrophic results now. We are now living in the dystopian society that is talked about and depicted in so many movies and literary works, most namely George Orwell's 1984, where the ministry of fill in the blank told you what was what. And you can be looking at it and they'll tell you it's something different. And you got to repeat it. It was called doublespeak. Creating of cognitive dissonance in the masses. This is the dystopian society where the government tell you that a man is a woman and a woman is a man, and you can't tell the difference based on biology. You got to use all of these, superficial, pie in the sky definitions for it. Well, you can be a man if you feel like you a man, and if you right. People are now starting to make fun of it because I had seen a little video, like a little prank video. People was walking in with cameras in places where people didn't want people to film. And you know what they were saying as the prank? Know what they were saying? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know what the prank joke was. I wish I had a video of it. When they came into places that didn't want them to film, but they were filming anyway, they said, I identify as a camera, so I'm filming. I identify as a camera. And why not? Why wouldn't that be acceptable? Because if a man can just identify as a woman and a woman can just identify as a man, we ain't got to prove it, we ain't got to do nothing else, then I can identify as a camera. I can identify as a cat. I can identify as anything I want to because we just saying it, right? One of the main issues of this type of soft words and double speak, this 1984 that we are living in right now, is to confuse the masses about this. Thank you, Louis B. Said, these are those times prophesied to come when they shall good evil and evil good, wrong is right, right is wrong. The sane shall be outcast, and those who embrace evil praise. And thank you, Pharaoh. So I identify as a young Denzel Washington. They mean to confuse you about biology, culture, and environment. Thank you, M lady. If you can be fooled about your biology, you don't have a shot of fighting against an evil culture or an evil environment. That is why they're doing what they're doing. That is why they attack the biology so heavily. Because if they can get you off your square if they can confuse you, thank you, Brandon, if they can muddle your thinking on something so simple as biology, something that the human being has understood about itself since the inception of human beings. If they can confuse you about what that is, then you will be a people who will be completely unable, completely just, I don't even know the word, but you will not be able to even function as a human being. And when you are unable to function as a human being, they gotta function for you. And that's the dangerous part. They gotta function for you. They gotta think for you. You no longer have, you are not of the mental capacity to talk about culture and change. You are not of the mental capacity to challenge legal, the law of the land and policies put in place, because you believe that a man can be a woman and have periods. That's what you believe. We got you to that point. So you are incapable. You are incapable of making proper decisions for yourself. Now we got to make them for you. Because you're incompetent, aren't you? A third grader can tell you what biology is, but you can't. Because we've got you incompetent. We fooled you about biology. When you look down and see a vagina and still be confused about whether or not you a man or a woman, we got you. We got you. You know who else had tried to get us? Black Lives Matter organization tried to get us too. They grabbed that $90 million and said, got you. Got him. Got him. They was like, got him. But we gonna have them. We gonna have the last laugh because we are going to hold them accountable. So before I sign off, I want to draw everybody's attention to the petition that we have against the Black Lives Matter organization for stealing from the Black community collectively and then running off with the money to fill their own pockets and fill the pockets of their families. So in the description box is a link to the petition. Thank you so much, Terry. And my mods are putting the link to that in the chat room as we speak. So please go ahead and sign the petition if you too want to hold Black Lives Matter accountable. Please share the petition across all of your social media and please contribute to it if possible. Okay, your contribution in the petition isn't money that comes to me. It's money that is given to basically change.org in order to put it in front of more people. So that's the purpose of a monetary contribution. Thank you, Pharaoh. And as long as we talking about getting people, we can get them in a bad way, but we can also have gotten you in a good way. and in a good way is get you with some A game. We can get you right, get you healthy, get you back on track physically, biologically with A game. It is made for men, not women who think they're men, but physical, biological men, okay? It is formulated with 21 herbs that are designed to optimize the health of men through his vitality, his energy, his strength, and his libido. So if you want to optimize your health with A Game, all you have to do is click the link at the top of the chat at agameherbal.com. And please don't forget your 10% discount using the code Kendra10. And you'll be able to get this box of awesomeness delivered to you ASAP. Thank you so much, Robert. I'm going to go ahead and thank everyone for coming through. Thank everyone for their generous contributions. I want to thank you for your likes. And last but not least, I want to thank my support team, without which we cannot bring you this content. I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey, guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the